Good morning, everybody, and welcome. We're so glad that you're here. We're going to get started in just a minute. We're letting some folks in now. It's great to see some familiar faces here. Good morning, sister. Good morning, Lynn, our board president of the board of Anythink Board of Trustees is here. Welcome, Lynn. And as you're coming in, please go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know where you're tuning in from. We've got a handful of us here from streaming from Anythink Right Farms in Thornton on this very foggy, beautiful morning. We're going to get started here in just a second. Maybe let a couple more people come in here. We have a wonderful morning planned for you all. And a few other folks. This is going to be we have such a fantastic lineup for you for this, our 5th Civic Saturday. Welcome, Christopher from Lakewood. Thank you for being here this morning. And Alex from Henderson, thanks for being here, Alex, to cheer on Michelle. So great. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Stacy Ledden. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships for Anythink Libraries, and we are so thrilled that you have decided to join us this morning and spend morning with us here. I'm going to be your host today. We have an incredible morning in store. And just one little housekeeping thing, we do have closed captioning available. So at the bottom of your screen, if you select closed captioning and then hit show subtitles, you'll be able to, those prompts will come up and you'll see those closed captions. So thank you so much. Over the past year, I've been on a personal learning journey myself about Indigenous peoples and other marginalized communities. Anythink has embarked on its own equity, diversity, and inclusion journey as well. I mention this because we still have so much to learn. And it is important for us to acknowledge this morning that we are broadcasting from Anythink Right Farms on the traditional land of Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute peoples, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have stewarded it throughout the generations. I hope you will join me on this learning journey by listening, investing, and discussing the important role that Indigenous peoples continue to have in our communities. So again, thank you so much for spending your morning with us. And as you're coming in, we still have folks joining us. Please introduce yourself and let us know where you're tuning in from. This is our 5th Civic Saturday at Anythink, as I mentioned, our 3rd virtual one. And for those of you who may be joining us for the first time, this may be your first Civic Saturday, I just want to give you a little bit of background about what this is all about. This is an initiative that started in Seattle from Citizen University, and it basically takes some of those rituals of faith-based gatherings, so things like singing songs, meeting your neighbor, hearing different scripts, and applies those in a civic setting. And so it's really designed to provide an opportunity for us to act as citizens just by showing up and being here together. And all in all, we're really here to make sense of civic life together. So this is what the morning's going to look like. First, our theme is building abundant communities, which is something I think that's near and dear to our hearts at Anythink, and hopefully all of you too. We are going to take a few minutes to get to know each other. We're going to do what we call a talk and turn, our virtual version of that. So we'll be paired up and to introduce ourselves to each other. We have some spectacular community members and performers, partners here this morning to share with us their gifts. We'll be hearing about that today. We're going to hear a sermon, a civic sermon from our very own Erica Grissman. You're in for a treat. Later, we're going to meet in small groups and have an opportunity to discuss together in more depth the themes that we're bringing up today. And then we're adding something new. Every single time we do this, we add something new, and we're going to have some time at the end for some open discussion, something that's a little bit more informal, a little bit looser, to talk about some of the things that we learned today. So we have, I think, a pretty inspiring event. And before we get started, I'd really like to introduce a special guest. Debbie DeLue is here today. And if you were at Civic Saturday in 2019, our very first one back in May 2019, I can't believe that it's been that long. Debbie was there. She's going to be doing real-time notes, and we'll be able to follow along today as she describes visually all that we have to learn. So welcome, Debbie. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you, Stacy. It's delightful to be back, and I'm looking forward to today's event and seeing how we can work together to build abundant communities and creating visuals for the meeting. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So it's going to be a joy to watch along as this unfolds today, and then we'll have an opportunity to share the video of your creation too after the event. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so next we are going to be doing our talk and turn. So traditionally, you know, we'd be sitting in a big room together, and again, we will be someday. We're going to pair up right now. Eric, the man behind the curtain who's keeping us running this morning, will go ahead and pair us up in a second. When you get into your pair, introduce yourself, share where you're tuning in from, and then what we're going to have you do is tell your partner someone in your community who's an inspiration for you. And we'll have about 5 minutes together, and then we're going to all come back together. So take it away, Eric. He's gonna, you'll be paired up here in just a sec. Okay, I'm already like completely inspired. Joanna and I are going for coffee. we just had such a great 5-minute conversation, I have to say. This is what it's all about, right? So I hope you had a great time meeting some of your neighbors as well. So next up, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our community reader here this morning, Michelle Jewell. Michelle works in corporate communications, and her family are regulars here at Anythink Farms. They've been coming here since their daughter was a baby, and she is now 7. I also count Michelle as a dear friend, and I'm going to pass it over to Michelle. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me, Stacy. Okay, so today I will be sharing 2 readings. The first is a poem by Marge Piercy from her 1982 collection, Circles on the Water. To Be of Use by Marge Piercy. The people I love the best jump into work head first without dallying in the shallows and swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black, sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves and ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in the row and pass the bags along, and who are not parlor generals or field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing well done has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn are put into museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry and a person for work that is real. Next, I will be reading an excerpt from Elizabeth Lesser's 2005 book, Broken Open: How Difficult Times Can Help Us Grow. May you listen to the voice within the beat, even when you are tired. When you feel yourself breaking open, when you feel yourself breaking down, may you break open instead. May every experience in life be a door that opens your heart, expands your understanding, and leads you to freedom. If you are weary, may you be aroused by passion and purpose. If you are blameful and bitter, may you be sweetened by hope and humor. If you are frightened, may you be emboldened by a big consciousness far wiser than you fear. If you are lonely, may you find love, may you find friendship. If you are lost, may you understand that we are all lost, and still we are guided by strange angels and sleeping giants, by our better and kinder natures, by the vibrant voice within the beats. May you follow that voice, for this is the way, the hero's journey, the life worth living, the reason we are here. Thanks.
Oh my gosh, so beautiful. I'm sure our team's sick of me saying this, but I really feel this, that coming to Civic Saturday and hearing these texts, it's like having your cup filled. And those excerpts absolutely do that for me. Thank you so much, Michelle. That was totally beautiful. So another of my absolute favorite parts of Civic Saturday, and really, if you know me, any Saturday, is the music. And so I am pleased to introduce Wayne Watts, a Baltimore native and Denver transplant. Wayne is a hip hop artist who merges captivating storytelling with intricate rhyme schemes to create lush soundscapes. He's also a dear friend to us at Anythink, and it's an honor to have him here today. Welcome, Wayne.
Check 1 2, we live. Check 1 2, we live.
Yeah.
All right, bet I love this right now. I had a little bit of technical difficulties, but it wasn't even a difficulty because I want to share what I heard real quick. And in the patches, I think I heard something that said I didn't break down, I broke open. And I can't tell you how much that resonated with my whole soul this morning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my sound check with y'all real quick. So I'm gonna call on people. All right, let me see. Let's do this real quick. I think it's Christopher. Christopher, if you can see my screen, you guys can see my screen. You can see the launch pad buttons and all of that. All right. So if you see the top row is green and it has 6 circles. Type in the chat which circle I should start with. Second from the left, let me see, because I think mine's set up this way. Second from the left would be this one. Check 1, check 1, check 2. Y'all hear that? Put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. Okay, I like that. I like that. You can put your hands down now. We're gonna do some working out right now, real quick. All right, next person I want to call on. Let me see. Look at everybody's faces. Let's say Stacy. Stacy. All right, the next row. Which one should we do?
For the fourth from the right.
Fourth from the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this? All right. All right. All right, Julia. No, Julie. Next one. So we got our drums sounding good, right? Y'all like the drums? All right. Cool. So we're on bass right now. So Julie, give me one for the bass. It's blue. So for the next line, what you think?
First one on the left.
Ooh. All right. All right. All right. All right, that sounds good. I'm gonna call on one more person real quick. Kelly. Kelly. So we're gonna get a melody in here, Kelly. What you think? You said the third one? All right. Cool. All right. Clap. Cool. All right. Breathing light. Breathe out love. Breathing light. Breathe out love. This came from my soul. It's like this. Hey. Life ain't sweet, but it ain't always sour. My nephew taught me how a seed can grow into a flower. Smelt my girl and told the world I think the world is ours. It's important as having knowledge is feeling empowered. Fist up to all my black queens that go to Howard. Yeah, and all my new leaders that go up copping. It's Black Lives Matter, man, we all about it. And if you saying all that, the problem, yeah, that such poor taste like a bad palate. Would you rather me use a bullet or me use a ballot? Either way, my favorite teacher taught me stop complaining. Life has its ups and downs, but it's still a trip worth taking. And I'm 10 flights up, haven't slept in like a month, feel like that's 10 nights up. But this morning I feel great, this morning I feel fate, this morning I feel faith that opened a new gate. So I'm thankful for everything that ends up on the plate. And I'm running through any entity that's in the way. I won't stop into my city yet. Hey, now rest in peace to Ali. Though we never got to meet, part of your spirit lives in me. I treat rap like it's the ring. Got much bigger things. One dimension won't accurately define my legacy. I got the thoughts of the legends. God sent them down from heaven in a flash of a second. It was destined for me. So I wrote it from my notes and put it in the code and gave the key to anybody else who got a dream. So if you feel disrespected that my method's too aggressive, no longer taking suggestions, leave a message at the beat. Breathing light. Light, breathe out love. So the hook says, breathe in light, breathe out love. Breathe in light, and breathe out love. So the reason why I wrote this was because I come from a town called Baltimore City, and it's almost 6 years since Freddie Gray got murdered. So it came from that feeling. I wanted to make a meditation for those fighting in the struggle. And the words came from a dear friend of mine on the hook. So not unmute, but keep it to yourself. We're going to do it together real quick because it's really important to me. And we're going to dedicate this to anybody who lost their lives from systemic racism. So it's like this. Breathe in light. Breathe out love. Breathe in light. Breathe out love. Breathe in light. Breathe out love. Love, breathe in light. Breathe out love. Breathe in light. Breathe out love. And breathe in light. And breathe out love. That's one of my new favorite verses. It's like, hey, love crafting, casting magic, overcoming demons, horsepower, preakness, triple crown leeches, blood sucking. Never people weakness, say a lot but rather only speak to fellow leaders, since words transcend space and time through speakers. No matter what I'm saying in this, let them keep it. When it's furthest to see the light, you gotta run and seek it. Watch what you sow so your seeds get to reap it. Chamber full of coal, I love to speak in secrets. I love to go through hard drives or archives of back then at hard times, where I found my joy and my freedom, hitting in the method from my ancestors teaching. Lessons pixelated, but it's easier to read it when you zoom in big picture frame all around the genius. Development, plan the development of a dreamer in the past, so the present is a chance to achieve light, love. It's light, love, light, love. Morning formations, comply to path to your peace. Change my flight plan from a conversation with geese. Friendship developed enough to tell you we speak, but the particulars involved never snitching out of the beak. Involving information, know that the world changing. Look around for a minute, feel the vibrations. Sit down for a sec, sense the sensation. Ill intuitions while you reach your destination. Please tell our grandkids we spoke of the movement. Tried to figure it out with the tools we had to move with. Maybe in your day and time you'll just go and do it. Maybe in our day and time we get a chance to prove like, love, 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 love.
All you little son boy.
Woo! Oh my God. Let's hear it for Wayne. Oh my gosh. I am not going to be able to get this smile off my face. That was totally amazing. We're going to hear more from Wayne a little later on. Thank you so much. Oh, you feel that cup getting full, don't you? Filled, don't you? Incredible. So we're going to shift gears just a little bit here this morning before we go into our civic sermon. We have a very special guest here this morning, Catherine Odson, our fantastic adult guide from Anythink Brighton, is going to help us kind of shift into the next mode here with some breathing exercises. So welcome. Welcome,
Thanks,
Catherine.
Stacey. It's always a challenge to follow Wayne. This is a lot. But we're going to kind of keep some of that feeling. So you can go ahead and close your eyes if that's comfortable to you. If you don't feel good like that, then keep them open. Up to you. And start letting your breath become a little deeper, a little longer. Starting to slow back down. Start to feel all the places where your body is in the connecting to the floor, maybe your chair where you're seated. Letting yourself feel a little more grounded and connected. Maybe as you inhale, you start to draw some of that steadiness up from the ground. As you exhale, sharing it back out. Taking one more breath. Letting your breath return to its natural, relaxed state. Maybe lifting the gaze back up or blinking open the eyes. Thank you.
Breathe in light, breathe out love, right there. Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce my dear friend and colleague who will be delivering today's civic sermon, Erica Grissman.
Thank you, Stacey. Good morning, everyone. It is so wonderful to be with you all this morning. Lending a helping hand and loving your neighbor. These are life lessons we're taught when we're young. But what does this look like when we're adults? It's easy enough to be kind, to give a friendly wave or exchange in small talk. But what about the hard stuff? When we see others suffering, what do we do? In many communities, we have placed the burden of help on institutions, schools, agencies, nonprofits. We've asked these places to do the hard stuff, to feed, to shelter, to lift up. But sometimes these institutions, even when designed with the best of intentions, can fail to meet the needs of a community. In some cases, they can even create a power structure that decides who in a community is helped and who is left behind. So what if instead we, as members of our communities, decided to do the work that goes beyond hand waving, the work that lifts us up together? Today, you'll be hearing more about how to do this work, some examples. You'll hear from Sarah, who has, as one person, worked to help thousands of community members get vaccinated. She is just one example of what it looks like when people take the initiative to help build a resilient community. Mutual aid is a concept rooted in the radical act of caring for one another while working to change the world. It's nothing new. This is a way that many societies and communities have long operated. But after a year of crisis, of a pandemic, and social uprising, it's becoming increasingly clear to many that we, as individuals and communities, possess in ourselves the ability to make a difference, and that it's our responsibility to do so. To quote John McKnight and Peter Block, authors of The Abundant Community, no matter how hard they try, our very best institutions cannot do many of the things that only we can do. And the things that only we can do as a family and a neighborhood are vital to a decent, good, satisfied life. It has been a year. And now that we are a full calendar year from when we first heard about COVID-19, when we went into lockdown, when we watched the world change in ways unprecedented in our lifetime, we can't help but reflect. And while, yes, we are still living in a world of change and fluctuations and unknowns, we are now far enough away from March of 2020 for memories to surface. The other night while cleaning, I found my very first mask, delicately packed away in a sealed bag with my name printed in precise block letters. When COVID hit, my partner and I felt lucky. We had a couple of masks at home left over from a house project. Before they were widely available, we kept ours secured and separated and clean, like something as precious as any stone, something that might save us. The other night, seeing that light blue mask again brought back a flood of emotions. Mostly the remembrance of just how much fear and panic had found a home in our collective psyche. I kept a journal through all of 2020. In an entry from exactly a year ago today, April 24th, 2020, I wrote, "I've had more tears this week than I've had for years. It's strange. I just got done crying, and I wasn't crying about anything specific, but I'm overwhelmed at the idea that so many people are dying right now, and that this will be the final year of life for so many more." I think we all had these feelings and all of these fears. Maybe some of us still do. But while leafing through all of the entries about the uncertainty, I also found a lot of references to the people around me, not just in my household, but in my neighborhood. I found mentions of the neighbors I already knew and others I was meeting for the first time. With new daily routines, we were introducing ourselves on the sidewalks and on front porches. I found journal entries talking about the food bank down the street, run entirely by volunteers in the neighborhood, organizing and distributing free food to anybody in need. There are entries about seeing my favorite retired couple out on their morning walk, holding hands as always, telling me about their concerns of not being able to fly back to Korea to see their family, but reminding me that these morning walks in Verbena Park were helping them to stay positive and healthy amid all of the panic. There are entries about bike rides to protests where thousands of people were putting up their hands in solidarity, demanding change, demanding justice. It's no coincidence that these scenes were painted alongside one another, because it's often in a time of crisis that we recognize the urgent need to band together. 8 years ago, I was introduced to John McKnight and Peter Block's book, The Abundant Community, through my colleagues at Anythink. The concepts within it served as an inspiration for approaching our own work in the communities we serve at the library, and the themes throughout it really stuck with me. Of those is the concept of gift giving, understanding that every single one of us here today has a gift, but more importantly, that every single one of us here today has a gift to give. These are gifts of the mind, gifts of the heart, and gifts of the hands. Think knowledge, compassion, creation. You don't have to think of gifts as grandiose or requiring formal expertise. Rather, they're the skills and abilities we possessed that, when shared, can benefit those around us. Perhaps childcare is a skill you have. Watching a 4-year-old is just something you know how to do. This is a gift. And when that gift is given, say you offer to watch a friend's kids so that they can make a doctor's appointment, it's more than a favor. It's a powerful act. Before it's given, a gift remains yours alone, something you can possess, potential wrapped up with a bow. When it's given, a gift is visible, it is shared, and it is a thread that helps to weave our social fabric. As McKnight and Block point out, a competent community builds on the gifts of its people. Citizens create satisfaction by recognizing their individual capacities and skills. We are beginning to see that the neighborhood is a treasure chest. By opening the chest and putting the gifts together in many different ways, we multiply the power of its riches. So, what gifts do you have to give? Who are you willing to share them with? Do you know how to garden? Write poetry? Are you good at math? Can you edit videos? Can you mend clothes? Fix a bike? Are you a good listener? If so, you have a gift to give. Eric Liu, the founder of Citizen University, who first started the Civic Saturday movement in Seattle, likes to refer to the power of being an active citizen in your community. Being an engaged member of society, exercising your voice, voting, these are all powerful acts that help to strengthen our democracy. But did you know that there is also power in family, and power in neighborhoods, and power in friendship? By awakening that power, we can create communities that are abundant, communities that are resilient. We've been here before, trying to make sense of the crises that come our way. After experiencing Hurricane Katrina, political scientist Daniel Aldrich began studying disaster sites around the world looking for data. And he found that it wasn't always the fire trucks and government aid that helped people to survive and thrive. It was your neighbors. Writing about Aldrich's findings, journalist Shankar Vedantam writes, "The point isn't that governments and professional experts are dumb. It's that communities are not the sum of their roads and schools and malls. They are the sum of their relationships." This past year especially, I have been so inspired and so proud of the work that's happening in my own Denver neighborhood and also at the library. Gifts are being identified and gifts are being given. Where I live, I think often about the Emergency Assistance Fund created by the East Colfax Neighborhood Association. Like any fund, anyone is welcome to contribute as much or as little as they can. But what makes this fund distinct is that any neighbor can ask for it. The fund has been used to help individuals facing eviction to stay in the neighborhood. It's also been used for rental deposits so that those who used to live in the neighborhood and were pushed out can return. By helping people to stay in the neighborhood and helping others to return, we are saying, you are welcome here. Recently, the Emergency Assistance Fund was used for a neighbor who immediately had to assume care for her 4 grandchildren without any preparation or resources. With one ask, She was able to use the neighborhood funds to buy clothes and food. After learning of the situation, other neighbors organized to provide even more: toys, books, all of the kid essentials. With just one ask, she was able to tap into the collective power of a community willing to share its gifts. At Anythink, we see gift giving at every turn. Our staff welcome everyone, and they go out of their way to help individuals with their daily needs. Whether that's helping someone to find a job, to pass an exam, to explore their passions, or to learn new skills. It's a spirit and a desire to help that is so integral to our work and our culture. And it didn't go away when COVID forced us to temporarily close our doors. Last May, Anythink staff took to the phones with the goal of reaching out to older library customers. There wasn't a pitch. The point was just to say hi, to check in, to ask, what do you need right now? Our staff made about 8,000 of these phone calls to aging adults in our community, and the impact was real. Some people were experiencing technical difficulties in our new world of online-only resources and Zoom calls, and our staff were able to patiently troubleshoot. Others needed help tracking down vital information and assistance. But many just needed a friendly voice, someone to talk to for a minute. One customer, a 72-year-old woman named Dolores, was one of those people. She spoke about her experience. She said, being single and being alone and isolated and a senior and all of the stuff that goes with it was extremely trying for me. It was wonderful that someone out of the blue called to ask how I was doing. Picking up the phone, meeting your neighbors. These seem like small things, but they have the power to make a huge difference. Today, I'm asking each of us to identify our gifts and to think about how we can give those gifts. I realize that this can feel overwhelming. We rarely think of ourselves as experts, and we aren't always connected to the people around us. But we all have gifts, and when we give them, we have the power to connect with one another and build resilient communities. So, start small. First, identify your gifts, list them out. For me, I can write and edit, I can cook, I can swim, I can run, and by no means am I an expert at any of those things. But when I think of them as gifts, I better understand how they might be able to help people around me. I can help a student write a school essay or make a healthy meal for someone who's too busy to cook. I will not win any swimming races, but I can teach someone the basics of a front crawl stroke at the rec center. Think about how you might make your gifts visible to others. There are physical and virtual ways you might be able to make this happen. But to build a network where gifts are exchanged, it is helpful to actually know the people around you. Do you know one person in your neighborhood? Great. Enlist them as your companion and set a goal of meeting one more person. Sometimes having a friend tag along makes it a little easier to knock on a door or attend a community meeting or to convene one yourself. As part of my neighborhood association, anyone is allowed to host a workshop to share their gifts. There have been neighbor-run workshops on general household repairs, yoga, how to brew kombucha, pretty much everything. I realize that running a workshop might seem daunting, or maybe you feel as though you don't have the space or the infrastructure to do something so formal. That's okay. Think about how you can start small. Could you set up on the grass at the park with a sign that says, free yoga lessons right now, all are welcome? You might be surprised at who would stop to join for some poses and what kind of difference it could make in someone's day. Sharing our gifts creates a broader network and a gift-minded community. Communities where we celebrate each other and celebrate mutual aid. Recently, I was speaking with Christian, one of the many people helping lead the neighborhood efforts that I have spoken with you all about today. When I thanked him for the work he was doing, he reminded me that it's not his job, but that it's our job. He said, I'm blessed to be able to do it, but we can only do it together. Thank you.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Erica. She's also really good at a washboard too. She has many, many, many gifts. And you know, having, you know, the cup continues to be filled here. Thank you so much, Erica. So the next part of our morning here, we're going to have an opportunity to actually share our gifts with each other and talk a little bit more in depth about some of the themes that Erica mentioned. So we're going to be heading into our Civic Circles. And we do have a few ground rules. I think Eric's going to pull them up here on the screen here in a sec as well. So first, please make sure when you go into your groups, everyone has a chance to talk and to be heard. Listen to hear, not to respond. Always a reminder I need as well. And so we have 2 prompts that we'd like you to discuss in your civic circle. So first, share with your group a community that you're a part of. It can be your friends, your neighbor, your work. It could be a community of hobbyists. So it doesn't necessarily have to be geographic. So share with your group a community that you're part of. And then what gift, passion, or resource do you have to offer that community? And again, remember those gifts can be skills, they can be resources, they can be small things that really just have a big impact on your community. So Eric is going to break us up into our groups. We're going to take about 15 minutes to have these small group discussions, and then we're going to come back together. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Oh my gosh, Christopher, our team we had such a fantastic discussion. As you're coming back in, I encourage you to drop in the chat those gifts that you identified for your community. And I know that there were a lot in there, so please go ahead and drop in the chat. Erica says her gifts aplenty in her group. Anybody else want to share some of the gifts? Planning and organizing, holding space for people, people's emotions, and showing up. Such important things. These are not gifts to be overlooked or thought of lightly. Nurturing Lakewood civic character. I love that, Christopher. Thank you for sharing. Hosting, Maria. Oh my God, she's such a fantastic host. Yep, education and listening. I can help you with your smartphone. Oh my gosh, Catherine, seriously. And she also knows a lot of really great facts about dinosaurs, which I now do too. All right, before we head into the next phase of our morning, we're going to recenter again with Catherine. So I'm going to pass it over to her.
Thanks, Stacy. So let's go ahead. You can sit however you're comfortable. And again, option to close your eyes, option to keep your eyes open, and just letting your breath be natural and relaxed. And starting to turn inward, noticing any differences in how you are feeling. Maybe physically or emotionally. Whatever presents itself for your attention is fine. And even if you notice you're not feeling anything or anything different, that's still noticing. And then taking our attention back to the breath.
This time we'll breathe into the area around the heart. With each inhale, filling up, and exhale, letting go. With each inhale, feeling that amazing power of community and connection we've been nurturing this morning. As you exhale, sharing that back to the group. Letting yourself luxuriate these nice full breaths. And in the fullness of this moment. And after your next exhale, returning to your natural breath. And slowly opening your eyes or bringing your gaze back to your screen.
Oh, that was such a good recentering. I'm so glad that we introduced these into our Civic Saturday, and thank you so much, Catherine. So next, I'm really excited to share that Sarah Walsh is going to be joining us. You know, typically with our Civic Saturdays, we invite organizations to come share some of the resources that they have available. We have done this with, Adams County Elections, Census, Rocky Mountain Partnership. Today, because we're talking about mutual aid, the power of the individual, and abundant communities, we wanted to invite an individual who is making a huge difference in her community. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
And Sarah is a mother of 4 and has been happily married for 12 years. When she's not camping, skiing, teaching yoga, hiking, or getting involved with her children's activities, she owns her own wedding and family photography business here in Colorado. She is also a community organizer, which stems from her 20-year career in nonprofits, and her passion for being a helper, as many have described her, led Sarah to organize a group of 85 volunteers to help secure COVID-19 vaccines for local aging adults. The group came together in early February, and since then, the self-titled Vaccine Helpers have managed to secure close to 3,500 appointments. Thanks for being with us here this morning, Sarah.
Thank you.
So first, could you tell us, how did you initially identify the need for COVID vaccine appointment help in your community?
You know, it started, so much of what Erica said earlier, I'm going to dovetail off of, because during the lockdown, we got to know our neighbors, which is not something that had happened naturally because everyone's lives are so busy and they're in and out of their garages, and we would see maybe their car pull in. So we kind of got to know our neighbors, one in particular across the street who falls into the 70 or above category. And she voiced her frustration about getting a COVID-19 appointment. She signed up on all the websites and the wait lists, and she just wasn't hearing back. And so I kind of just stepped in and said, well, let me see what I can find. So I just sent her a bunch of resources that I found, and she found an appointment. And that kind of led me to think, well, who else do I need to check in with here? So I checked in with my mom, because my mom barely falls into the 70 and up category, but she does. So I called her, and I heard the exact same sentiments from her as I did my neighbor. And I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, my mom's really good on the computer, and so is my neighbor, but these websites can be convoluted, they can be layered, they can be confusing. There's glitches. So I said to my mom, I'm like, okay, let me try to get you an appointment. So I jumped on Albertson's website, which is the one I knew at the time, and they're the ones that own Safeway here. And I jumped on, got to know the website. I'm a big, my husband and I are big concert goers. So we're like magicians at getting concert tickets.
I completely understand.
Yeah. So So that I felt like, well, I can do this. If I can get concert tickets, I can score her a vaccine appointment. And lo and behold, that same day I got her one. She went in, got her shot that night. And I thought, well, this is interesting because I do have a photography business, and in January and February, it slows down even in a non-pandemic year. So I was kind of like, well, I have some free time, which, you know, free time is relative. I just threw something up on Facebook and I said, hey, does anyone else out there need help? You know, I know a lot of you work full time, and I can help. Like I'm not a magician, but I can certainly give it a shot. I had 20 people Facebook message me and say, help, help, help. And some of these people were in Illinois where I moved from, and some were here. So I was doing that, and it was about a week later, my mom said that she had just kind of sent a message to one of the local news stations saying, hey, this is what my daughter's doing, with the idea that maybe you could spread the word so that other people could do this, because, you know, they don't want just one person in Colorado doing this. Well, I got interviewed on the news, and then I woke up the next morning to over 100 emails in my email box. I freaked out because I'm like, wait a minute, what kind of can of worms did we open here? So I panicked for about 24 hours. And then I sat down and I'm like, okay, you are an event planner. You have community organized before. Just put that hat on. You know, we all wear different hats and we all have different talents. And I know that's one of mine. So I spent about 10 hours a day for 5 days and put together a system that I thought could work with all the people that had sent me emails about wanting to help. I'm like, I got to bring them in. So with Google Drive, I just figured it out, and I set up basically a train. I said, I need the first car to pull the second car to pull the third car. And there are all these people in the community that want to help, with the last car being the vaccine needed, the ones that needed the appointments. So I sat down with my husband and we kind of thought through it. I visualized it, and then I just started working. And I said, okay, if the train starts to at least slowly chug forward, then at least we're moving forward and not backwards. And I said, I'll just put out the fires as they come.
Amazing.
So yeah, 85 volunteers came through, and I organized them into teams. Every team does something different. And I am super, super happy to report, I just checked, we've got 3,389 appointments that we have made for our local Colorado community. And we've had about 5,000 to 6,000 inquiries for that. So
that is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, just the power of one person is just incredible here, right?
One person that blossomed into a bunch.
Yes, a lot. That we need a spark though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is absolutely not your first experience in the front lines of organizing. What advice would you give to someone who sees a need in their community, but doesn't quite know where to start?
You know, it's first of all, knowing your community. If you're part of a community, you know the type of community you live in. All our communities differ. But I mean, it's just seeing, first of all, identifying the need. I mean, you can see it on social media. If you are next door, or if you have a community Facebook page, there are constantly needs that keep showing up. And like Erica was saying, everyone has a gift, and your gift might not be organizing. Your gift might be that you have a snowblower or, you know, something. So seeing those needs, I think bringing your children and your family into it, because you're going to need a support network if it's a little bit of a bigger project. So identifying the need, and then just doing something, you know, that I have that hashtag that I post a lot, and it's hashtag do something. That something can be specific to what you're good at, but it's something. If we just sit around and talk about it, or if we sit around and wait for other people to do it, it's not going to happen, or it may not happen as fast. So for instance, like when I drive into my neighborhood, there's a creek and there's always trash in the creek. And I'm thinking that's such a small, you think it's a small thing, but if you throw something up on next door and say, hey, I'm going to meet down at the creek Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Who wants to join me to help clean it up? You're going to find a few people that's their talent, you know, cleaning up trash. You know, there are people that love to do that because it beautifies their neighborhood. You're going to find that there are mutual talents and needs. It's just a matter of throwing it out there. Throw it out on Facebook. You know, there are people that will come and help you. My philosophy has been with this whole vaccine finders or vaccine helpers is, if you build it, they will come. And it doesn't have to be something huge. It can be something really small. So, I mean, that's where I would start.
Yeah, it's great advice. From your perspective, what opportunities do we have in everyday life to build stronger, more resilient communities? I think you've touched on that a bit.
Yeah, and I think Erica did too. I mean, she kind of said some stuff that I'm going to repeat, but I think it's first of all, you have to build some relationships. You got to know your neighbors, and I feel like that's definitely lost. I grew up in Cincinnati where we had neighbors all knew each other. We knew each other's kids. We knew each other's pets. We knew, we just knew each other. And I feel like we've become very individualistic in our lives, not because we're selfish, just because of the way life has gotten so busy. And I think we need to reconnect there, because that's where you're going to find the needs. And that's easy. Everybody can do that. Everybody has neighbors, even if you live out in the rural Brighton, you still have neighbors. Check in with them. Just start to get to know them. For instance, we had that big snowstorm a couple weeks ago, and I went out and shoveled my driveway, and I always shovel my neighbors with my other neighbor. We team up and shovel another neighbor's driveway. But when I was looking, there was a woman down the street who was shoveling her driveway by herself, and she looked older. So I just walked down there. I'd never met her. She's like 5 houses down from me. I'm like, "Are you doing this by yourself?" And she said, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm doing little bits at a time." And I'm like, "No, we're going to help you." So my neighbor next door and I went down there, and we got to know her. We found out that she's a gamer. She's awesome, and now I know so much about her family. So it really starts with community conversation,
Yeah,
and then you can figure out who has what talents. I know some of my neighbors now, and I know some of them are really good with kids. I have children. There's a connection. So it really just boils down to that conversation that I think is lost now. I think we're so social media driven, and I'm a Facebook addict. I'm not going to lie, but I really, really want to make sure I don't lose my personal connection of conversation with those people around me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's part of the reason we host, events or gatherings like Civic Saturday too, so we can get to know each other in that same way.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of the work that you're doing. Thank you for being part of our Anythink family. We can't wait till you come back and do some more yoga at Anythink Right Farms too. We really appreciate you sharing your story this morning. So,
if I can just leave you with one thing, is just do it. Do something. Do something.
That's great advice. All right. Thanks, Sarah. All right. So I am pleased to welcome once again Wayne Watts.
Check 1, check 2, we live. Oh man, so I just want to say, let me pull this up real quick. Thank you guys for having me. I want to shout out a couple of things. So one, the topic of resilience and community is really important to me. I know I'm an artist as well, but I want to shout out Dream Create Inspire Tour. So I'm the co-founder of the Dream Create Inspire Tour. Shout out to Destiny Hardney. And what we do, our mission is to entertain, provide exposure, and build community through soul enriching experiences. So we do workshops. So that's how we've, connected and partnered with the Anythink family. We do songwriting workshops with young people, with those young at heart, to senior citizens, teaching them how to make music digitally as well. So our virtual workshops are really lit. So you see some of the stuff that we do in that. And we also then do community events. So if you guys are in the Denver area on 3rd Fridays, come through down on 16th Street Mall. We actually take over the clock tower, the Daniels and Fish clock tower on 16th Street Mall. So we take it over at 7 p.m., 7 to 8 p.m. So just kind of wanted to highlight that for that right there. And then last but certainly not least, this song right here is a mantra. Again, I'm really based in mantras, and joy is a revolutionary act, and it starts inside. So the first thing I do in the morning is thank me for me. Like the song is called Thank You For Me. I think it's really important to thank yourself for yourself. Not all the other hats that you wear. The other hats are cool, right? Like who you are to other people. But who you are to just who you are is really, really important. So I have this hat. Shout out to this. I'm about to get the company wrong, but it's a hat I also wear that has love yourself. So if you look in the mirror, you see it backwards, but if you look in the mirror, you get a chance to see it. So that's important to me as well. And then I try to make sure that I wear pieces from local, not just local, but people that are doing amazingly dope work in the community. So this is False Ego hoodie. I got Lawrence and Lerma on. Kind of gets me in my vibe. So I'm setting the tone for this song right here called Thank You For Me. And while I'm doing that, I want you to find, it can be a picture, it can be anything, but just it could be something that thanks you for you. When you see it, you thank yourself for yourself, or you thank yourself for resilience. But what we're gonna do is, change our backgrounds real quick. So I'm gonna change my background, and what we're gonna do is make that our background. Right? So we'll do something like that. Shout out to Sims Viola Foundation. The students over there actually designed this artwork in one of our virtual workshops. They got a chance to design it. So I did a lot of speaking there, but I got to set this up properly. Let me share my screen and we will get to it. New technologies for y'all on this one. All right, here we go. So shout out to the legendary, I can't even tell you how dope this person is. Breon Wright, just amazingly dope, man. So she's a local artist from Denver that sings, and she's gonna kick it off one time. Here we go. Breon Anye, here we go.
It's like, thank you for me. I woke up this morning like, thank you for breathing. Thank you for me. I woke up this morning, thank you for me. Hey, yeah. I woke up this morning like, thank you for me.
Hey, it's like, thank you for me. I woke up this morning like, thank you for me. If you woke up this morning, thank you for me. Me. I woke up this morning like, thank you for me. Me. Listen, hey, the legends know I'm on the rise. City know I'm toe-to-toe. Last month I wrote some rhymes. Last week I did some shows. Yesterday I made a plan strategically to change the globe. What was y'all gonna say? Crossed off all my goals. Open up my heart and through my scars you see them overflow. Close my eyes at night. Sometimes the years they tend to overload. Every memory and sensory is like an overdose. High off energy from the spirit. Feel like they Holy Ghost. Communicate through changes and cadence like they know me close. Fire on sight, broad daylight. You show me smoke. Inspire all types for all life. You show me hope, I bag it up and flip it. Double it and just let it flow. Double down on messengers, headed out on a lonely road. Mountain highs, valley lows. Jump shots through crooked rims and alley goals. Alameda, Trumpfield, we came from Cali and a rusted calico. IJ, let them know it's time to rain. Like Corey now. Look, I pay for my joint now. Hard work, that's the story now. I think we learned to flip shame into glory now. Thank you for me. I woke up this morning like, thank you for me, baby. I'm like, thank you for me. I woke up this morning like, thank you for me. Listen, hey, fired up the movement on different coasts, you can see the smoke. Short on our backs is living proof that it's more than quotes. Vibrated high enough for frequencies to change the notes. Brain full of ideas that change the world when they float. Look me in my eyes close. You probably seen a goat. Shepherd for creators, inspiration for a dreaming soul. Paved yellow brick roads, I still believe in home. Made a manuscript on all the ways to conversate with ghosts. I'm clear-headed, the fear level to write my thoughts. Yeah, prejudice and pure blessing, I learned my voice. It took time, but what's time to the chicken trees? I killed time, but what's time to the winter leaves? Now seeds grow, indeed, those who couldn't see will just project and reflect. When they speak to me, it's black mirrors, evoking spirits to cast shade. Prayer shelter the soul, from the highs to the cascade. Build overdue, but the price is past paid. It's still the first hour, third, second of the last days. The last days is really what the perception is. Reality is duality in its truest sense. I learned lessons from absences in relationships. I learned balance in handling where the emotion live. Cause mental states is more fluid than the ocean is. But the tide changed and showed the moon really knew that it's time to rain. Like Corey now. Look, I pay pain for my joy now. Hard work, that's the story now. I think we learned to flip shame into glory now. I said it's time to rain like Corey now. Look, I pay pain for my joy now. Hard work, that's the story now. I think we learned to flip shame into glory now. Thank you for me. I woke up this morning like thank you for me, baby. Ay, I'm like thank you for me. I woke up this morning like thank you for me. Yeah. Hey.
One, two, three, four.
Say what?
Yeah. And if you rotting with me, I want you to say thank you for me. I woke up this morning like thank you for me, baby. Hey, I'm like thank you for me. I woke up this morning like thank you for me. We gonna test it out. I'm gonna have y'all come off mute and we gonna say thank you. Thank you for me. Me. Thank you for me. Thank you for me. Thank you for me. Back on mute, they go like, I'm like, thank you for me. I woke up this morning like, thank you for me. If you woke up this morning, say thank you for me. I woke up this morning like, thank you for me. Baby.
I'm thankful for me. I'm thankful for every single one of you. What a joy. And thank you, Wayne, so much for bringing that light and those great beats. And how cool was that? That's so awesome. So let's check in with Debbie. Look at this incredible piece that she has been working on. Vaccine helpers. Breathe in light, breathe out love. That is, I'm going to be thinking about that one all day. Start small. Share your gifts of the heart, hand, and mind. Debbie, this is so beautiful. Thank you for capturing our morning and our spirit here today.
It's delightful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I also just want to say thank you so much to Michelle for your reading this morning, to Wayne, to Catherine, for bringing our breath, and Sarah, who shared her story, and Debbie, just incredible. We have the most amazing Civic Saturday planning team. I have to give a big shout out to Maria and Julie. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And Rebecca Bowman, our manager here at Wright Farms, and Eric, the man behind the curtain who's making us look so good. Oh my gosh, just incredible. Thank you to all of you for showing up. That's one of the things that we learned today that we've heard about is just taking that first step and being here and doing the thing. Just by showing up, you're doing the thing. And we're so grateful that you keep coming back and engaging, and thankful for those who are here first time. If you have not done so already, Julie has put together a fantastic guide for families. It's got learning, it's got activities, it's got a reading list. So I think we're going to be dropping that in the chat. And it's also available. We have designed a new Civic Saturday page on anythinklibraries.org. So you can go there. We'll also have, I think probably the recording from today, we'll have Debbie's recording as well on there. And we also have our survey. If you would like to, like, your feedback really helps us to define our next Civic Saturday too. So please fill out our survey. You'll be getting that via email as well. I have to check in with our crew. Do we have a few minutes? Do we have any time to just get any initial thoughts? I'm checking in with our crew here, our planning crew, because I kind of we were planning on opening things up, and is Eric?
Yep, we're running a little bit behind, but
We are.
I can stick around, so if we want to still open it up, I think we can.
Okay, cool. So usually we have some time for community announcements. So if there was like an event that was coming up, just like Wade kind of shared, we're going to open things up, and we'll just have folks like raise their hands virtually or throw in the chat. But before we do that, I really wanted to throw things over to Julie Crabb, our incredible children's guide here at Anythink Right Farms, to tell us about the summer.
Thank you, Stacy. Thinking about Anythink and the gifts we can give our neighborhoods this year, we're doing a ton of stuff. So do keep an eye out on the website. If you're not signed up to receive our event updates, you can do that at anythinklibraries.org. We are bringing back community experiences this year, those shared experiences that feel so important that we've been missing out on a little. So we've got the Backyard Concert Series. Our annual series is coming back right now, planning to be in person and live stream. So a couple ways to participate. Those begin in June. We are also supporting local artists and experts. There's programming at all of our locations, including toddler rock concerts, yoga on the lawn, and bringing in some Colorado birds of prey, among hundreds of other things probably going on this year. And then we're also providing cultural sparks, and we're hoping they're going to have a restorative power for our communities. We've got storytelling from Rose Red Elk. She's a Native American performer. That'll be happening this summer at each of our locations. And the big ticket item is for My Summer this year, which is our summer program. We are bringing in an artist, Jason Fan, who will be creating his Spirit Nest creations. And many of our locations will be getting these big sculptures that you can visit. Some are arriving soon, so do keep an eye out for that. You can find more information on our homepage for the big events, but also on our events page.
Thank you so much, Julie. And I just realized too that I forgot that the library is opening up right now, but I did want to, just for like a couple minutes, if we can, if anybody had their own community announcement, or even just any last thoughts on the things that you learned today. You can either just raise your hand or do it digitally too. Anything that inspired you or made you think differently or inspired you to act today? All right. Oh yeah, go ahead, Christopher. Oh, Eric, can you unmute Christopher? There we go.
I think that what I'm really left with and inspired by and will noodle on for quite a while is the concept of the town hall. And how do we create those spaces and places where we can come together as a community just to be in fellowship with one another. So that's what I'm left with.
That's great. In our group, we were talking about a little bit about Anythink as town square, and that those opportunities to create spaces and places to gather and share. And I have to share too that Christopher is part of cohort 11 in the Citizen University Civic Saturday Fellowship. And so we're so excited about that. Any other last thoughts that anyone would like to share today? All right, no pressure, but we are so thrilled that you are all here. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to Wayne. Our next Civic Saturday will be on September 25th. We're going to be in person and it's going to be awesome. I'm thinking, I have this vision in my head on the back lawn at Anythink Farms, like a nice breakfast. Let's get together and gab. So September 25th, mark your calendars, bring a friend. Again, please fill out that survey. We'd love your feedback. I can't wait to connect with some of you offline too. I feel like I made a lot of friends today. our circles keep getting bigger, right? So thank you all so much for being here and take care. Have a good day.